All right. Welcome into this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. Corey Moen, Evan Byrne. Evan, how we doing?
Can't complain right now. Obviously, the Bucks aren't too hot right now, but Marquette won today. I know you're a Madison guy, but good day for college basketball for some. We haven't won in a while.
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin had unfortunately won 3 straight in the border battle. So, and again, I kind of watched that game. Marquette's a different team this year than they were last year. I actually think they're a lot better
I do too, weirdly enough.
this year. I don't know. It just looks like you guys just have less like individual guys, like less guys like a Tyler Kolek and like
Yeah, you're not relying on one guy.
not yeah. So, congratulations. It's one of those things where it's like you kind of expect it to come at some point. So, Wisconsin was able to take 3 straight. Not much you could do about that. All right, let's get to the games. Milwaukee played against the Detroit Pistons, blew them out.
Yeah, that was a really good game to watch.
Now give credit to Detroit because they have improved a lot from last year. But yeah, Milwaukee was able to blow them out, 128-107. Just a couple big contributions here, specifically from Giannis and Dame, Gary Trent, Bobby. So, and see for Detroit, it was obviously the Cade Cunningham show with 23 points and Tobias at 16. So I guess what did you see in Milwaukee's performance against Detroit?
It was just one of those really good all-around games from everyone. Obviously, like you said, Giannis and Lillard were the priority, the main guys. Giannis shooting almost 100% from the field. But yeah, no, a big game from Gary Trent, 16 points. Starting to kind of feel his groove again. He's been kind of in and out throughout the season. But yeah, no, I felt this was one of those games where they did exactly what they needed to do. Good contribution from a lot of the guys on the bench. I feel like their bench has gotten so much better as the season has gone by. AJ Green starting to find his more consistent shot. I felt like, he would do well one game and then the other one, he gets the shot he needs, just sometimes not being able to knock down a good portion of them. But yeah, no, going 4 for 4 and then 3 from 3 from the field. No, I just felt confident with everyone throughout that game. I never really had any worries throughout there. Just kind of came out strong and just didn't hold back throughout that game. That took them to 4-0 though for the cup, so they kind of qualified for that, which was good to see. But yeah, no, just a huge first quarter and second quarter, even bigger second quarter, which really solidified the win for them. Obviously, a pretty crappy fourth quarter, but no one was really playing as much. That was kind of the later garbage minutes for some of the guys. But yeah, I felt good about this game. Obviously, going against the Pistons, they're already at more than what they won pretty much last year at this point. So kind of feels good to see. I would say the biggest thing, seeing Malik Beasley go 2 for 10 was reassuring, just to kind of know that he is continuing to be a choppy shooter, not just for the Bucks. But no, good for him though. Doing well. But yeah, pretty solid overall game. I can't really complain about watching good basketball. This was one of those games that they need to win. And again, they did exactly what they should have done. Blew them out.
Yeah, and again, it is funny the Malik Beasley slander that's kind of emanated on this podcast. It's, I get it. Malik Beasley wasn't anything special. I will say that he was not, but no, it was a good win. Really wasn't close, like anywhere.
Yeah, after the first quarter, it was a wipeout from there.
Yeah, easy wrap. And again, the guys who I expect to have a good game did. Giannis and Lillard, those two have been kind of a wrecking crew. But like I said, Milwaukee can become a more formidable team if guys like Bobby Portis and Gary Trent really start to step up. And I get it, for Bobby Portis' sake, it just feels like Bucks fans just wait for him to have a bad game. so that they kind of paint him as a problem. That's kind of what I'm noticing. It just feels like, Bobby will have a good game, and then like nobody will say anything, and then Bobby Portis will have a bad game, and it just feels like he's kind of being unfairly targeted just a little bit. It's just, like Bobby could come on like score 17 points on like 9 of 11 shooting or something, or 9 of like he could have a good percentage, score 17 points, but then he could come. But then the next game we come out and have 7 points. It's like, see, this is why we need to trade him. I knew Bobby Portis was the problem. It's like, Jesus. It's like at the end of the day, he's still on our team, and this team is very much still have a devoid of talent coming off the bench. Okay, AJ Green's coming into his own, but it's just like, how many guys can you really rely on a consistent basis, right? So Gary Trent's coming in a little bit, coming into his own, but like he's still not like a formidable player for this for this team. Daylon Wright, no. Tyler Smith, Chris Livingston, and 2 of those guys don't even play. So, and Pat Connaughton's been like, his minutes haven't been as consistent.
No.
So it's just like, again, the thing is like, they're identifying the problem without coming up with any solutions, right? So if you think Bobby Portis is the problem, what's the solution to like getting rid of him, and like what would you get back for him? Nobody. I don't know if anybody has that answer, and it's way too early to tell in December. Okay, but like what's going to start to happen is that Bucks fans are going to start to steal like who they should get. Basically, like they'll see what a writer will put together like 5 trade packages, and Bucks fans won't even they won't have an original thought in their head. They'll just be like, oh yeah, we should get like if somebody said like we should get Colin Sexton again, right? They put that. Oh my God, Colin Sexton would be perfect. So it just feels like they steal from other writers without really having an original thought of who they could get to make this roster a little better.
Yep, you just pick the most underrated target right now and just be like, yeah, that's the guy. They hop on the train of, yep, Cam Thomas. Let's get him over here. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it's just like one person says it, then it catches fire.
I know. And the problem is it's just, and like they'll also steal like what, like they will also steal like why the writer said that. It's like, well, he's a good 3-and-D guy. Okay, but are you saying that, or did you get that from like Laurie Nickel or something? like who are you, like, is that your opinion, or are you just basing that off of what somebody else said? That's why I don't really dig in. That's why I don't dig too deep into these trade rumors, because that's all they are.
Yep.
I think trade hypotheticals, I'm sorry, it's probably some of the most trash writing that you could ever do as any sort of writer, because the trades are always so stupid. And and even go with the fucking the ESPN like trade simulator.
Yep.
That shit's dumb too. People will like post those tweets, and it's like, well, but we could get Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton for like D'Angelo Russell and like a first round pick. Well, of course they're gonna like say that's okay. And like that's the thing with those trade simulators. That's the biggest problem I have with it. Is it's just like, they accept the most ridiculous, heinous ass trades like ever. They're like fantasy. It's like when you have that one friend in fantasy football who always makes the most dumbest trade proposals, and you're just like, dude, this is ridiculously dumb. Why would I accept this? That's basically what these trade simulators are like. Like if you actually try to do that to an actual GM, he would laugh in your face.
That's like all the Giannis ones.
Yes.
John Horst coming out with "You're living in a fantasy world." I screenshot every single Giannis hypothetical trade because they're so funny.
Oh, Giannis could go to Miami for Jimmy Butler. It's like, well, why would we want a broken down Jimmy Butler?
Correct.
Like, how does that benefit us? And by the way, that's the other thing too. Giannis wouldn't go to Miami because the Heat couldn't get Damian Lillard. So it's just like, because they didn't have assets. So
you literally have to trade your whole roster.
If you think So how have the assets changed this time around from the last time around? They haven't. The Heat still very much have like players that are like unheralded, under the radar, gritty. A lot of them probably playing like Division II colleges or something, and in front of like 20 people. Like those are the type of players Miami gets. So it's like, really, you think we're gonna trade that? And again, the problem is when you get those players on other teams, they're not as good. Prime example, Gabe Vincent. He's
Literally
been ass
every guy who
cheeks.
leaves Miami.
He's been ass cheeks since he went to the Lakers. He hasn't been as good. When the Lakers signed Kendrick Nunn, not as good. When Duncan Robinson got the bag, not as good. So it's just like when you try to get those players on like other teams, even Max Strus when he went to the Cavs, it's just like these players these players that come from Miami aren't as good as when they're in Miami. Because the culture's different, and the Heat demand excellent basketball. But yeah, speaking of the Lakers, Jesus Christ, JJ Redick's getting more gray hairs.
Yep,
He's
they got blown out the other day.
He is getting stressed out with every loss. He better pace himself. I'm being dead serious. He honestly better pace himself, because if he's gonna be if he's gonna be stressed out after every loss, dude, you are not gonna survive more than 2 years. And I get it. Coaching's a very stressful profession, but I'm just telling him right now, he's got to pace himself.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be, It's tough to just. It's an 82-game season, man. You got to relax. Geez Louise, I'm telling him, you just got to relax. But yeah, all right. Moving on to the next game.
Boo! I was at this game.
Yeah, there was nothing. It was nothing good about this game. It really ended after I would probably say the second quarter, because it was almost a 40-point first quarter, and then by the time they got to the second quarter, it was a wrap. They lost that 32-24. And again, I'm not too surprised, because Atlanta's kind of been like an enemy of sorts of ours in the regular season. And it makes it a lot tougher when you get guys like Jalen Johnson scoring 23, and you get DeAndre Harris scoring 20, and Bogdanovich scoring 15.
Yeah, he was lighting them up on threes.
And Okongwu scoring 13. And those are the type of players that's kind of killed Milwaukee a little bit. Really not so much Jalen Johnson, but and Trae Young only had 17. But like Okongwu and Bogdanovich and Hunter, those players have been solid players for him. And I think that, and again, those have been kind of Bucks killers, especially Bogdanovich. That guy's killed us since he joined the Hawks. But I guess, what did you see in Milwaukee's performance against Atlanta?
Really, the big thing was rebounds. They got out rebounded 54-40. Gave up 15 offensive rebounds. It's just, there's no box out. This was one of those games where it was frustrating to kind of just watch their ball movement and their shot choice. The first 2 minutes was pretty good. They went up 16-5, and then I blinked and they're down damn near 20. This was a game of, why are we taking this shot? Why are we taking AJ Green 2 for 11, Gary Trent 4 for 11. We just have so many guys who are just taking shots just to shoot it at that point. No really consistency outside of Giannis and Lillard, who are the only high scoring contributors. Gary Trent was the next highest with 11. They're on a back-to-back night. Obviously, I don't like to blame back-to-backs, but you went all out in that Pistons game the night before to make sure you get the cup. And then you come play here against the Hawks, who have beaten the Cavs twice, the Celtics, the Knicks, I believe, as well. So they're not a team to kind of mess around with. And like you've said in the past, they always seem to find ways to beat us. Just because, again, they have that lineup that you're not going to have the one person who scores 40 plus. You have that consistency of getting multiple guys to score 12 to 15 and up every game. Dyson Daniels is another guy who's kind of on that come up, averaging 3 or 4 steals a game. So again, you got the defenders you need, the shooters are going to get, and then you just couldn't grab a rebound. So yeah, it was a frustrating game. Overall, that was the first game I went to this year. I went with work, but yeah, no, just a crappy game just to kind of watch, just because whenever they had a chance of kind of making that comeback, especially later in the fourth quarter, it was just turnovers, and then they give up 6-7 straight points, and then it's, well, there's that, and it just kind of ends it there. There was no runs I felt like they had later in the game. I just felt like they would score 3 points and give up 2, and then maybe score 2 points and give up a 3. It was just so much back and forth, but then the Bucks just couldn't hold on near the end, and they just slowly just kind of died down.
Yeah, and especially Clint Capella, who had 8 points but 17 rebounds. I think he was kind of the catalyst for, like, you know, grabbing most of those offensive rebounds. You know, it's just, and again, even the other guy too, Zachary Rochache, 12 points at 19 minutes, high lottery pick. But again, kind of looking at the stats here, Giannis 31, Dame 25. Nobody else really did anything. So again, when you have uneven scoring like that, it's just not, you know, nobody's really going to be doing. And again, a lot of people, and this is one of those Bobby Portis games where, like, the consistency is, like, super maddening. 6 points and 5 rebounds. It's just like,
yeah, he is a defensive liability. I feel like, especially in some of these games where his matchups are just absolutely no way he is stopping. I know a lot of it was he was guarding Jalen Johnson, sorry, and just right to the hoop. I felt like three straight possessions, they got easy layups right up, right past Bobby, and it's one of those things where that's like when they score 3 or 5 points in a row and they go on a run, and then it's just given right back up. But yeah, no, it was just a very crappy overall game, I feel like, on the offensive and defensive side.
Yeah, and this comes on the heels of, like, Trae Young. He didn't really have, like, I don't think he had, like, a huge performance on this game.
No, shot 6 of 19, 0 for 9 from 3.
Yeah.
After what he did last night.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, unfortunately lost to Atlanta, but, you know, at least they played Boston, and they lost that one.
Yep, they lost in the last, like, 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they did. That game was frustrating, too, because I felt as though Milwaukee, that was like, okay, they're finally going to beat the Celtics in this series.
Yeah.
Nope. Boston does what Boston does. Got offense contributions from everybody, and again, this is what happened. Evan, this is what happened. So it was Chris Middleton's first game back.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look bad. Look bad. He scored 11 points, scored double digits. You know, again, 23 minutes. This is kind of what we were expecting. Gary Trent 11 points, but then Giannis 30, Dame 31. But again, when you don't get anything else from anybody else offensively, you're not beating the Boston Celtics. I guarantee you, because let me tell you something. That team is a wagon. That team is unstoppable. It is one of those things where I don't know who can challenge them in the West, because in the East, because it's like who is there? It's like, well, there's Cleveland. Okay, Cleveland's been good. Does Cleveland have enough offensively to hang with the Boston Celtics in, say, a 7-game series? I doubt that. So really the best chance is probably, I mean, I think Milwaukee could make it a good series. I also think that, I don't even know who else is good this year. Miami.
Just the Knicks.
The Knicks.
But that still is, I could see them, you know, they got Karl Anthony Towns now.
Yeah.
But
I mean, do I think the Knicks would beat the Celtics in a 7-game series? No. I mean, who else? I already said the Heat.
It's really the Cavs, the Knicks, the Heat, or the Bucks. I feel like are gonna put up the best fight.
Pacers?
With how Tyrese is playing this year.
Oh my God, Tyrese is in a midlife crisis right now. He is. He's like, God, I don't know what's going on with me. I can't play as well as. It's like, well.
Yeah.
And again, it's Tyrese he's been shooting bad, right? I feel like that's what it's
Yep.
been. He just hasn't been shooting the ball as well. But yeah, going back to the game for a sec, yeah, Milwaukee for sure did lose this in the especially in the fourth quarter, outscored 33-23. Um and again, they really slashed Andre Jackson Jr.'s minutes in half. He only played 12 minutes, scored 2 points,
Yeah,
grabbed a
which is
rebound.
unfortunate.
Yeah, but again, it's I was glad to see Chris Middleton get back out there because
Hmm.
I think overall I think he is a difference maker. Like when he's out on the floor, even if he's playing like just a little over 20 minutes. So I guess from your standpoint, what did you see in Middleton's first game?
Obviously, he shot 2 for 10, but he hit that his first basket. He hit that and 1 3-pointer. Um, had a good fadeaway shot. He made his free throws, had a couple rebounds, and 5 assists, 2 steals. I felt like a block. Overall, I just felt like he looked comfortable. I mean, he played 23 minutes. That was 8 minutes more than I thought he was going to play. I fully expected 10 to 15 minutes. But just kind of being able to come in and play almost 2 quarters worth of time. I felt confident with it. Obviously, it's his first game back. Things are going to hopefully improve over that time period, but it felt good to see him back and kind of have that impact on the court. I feel like if you don't have Chris Middleton in this game, you probably lose by double digits. Um, I feel like with his contributions, they're able to kind of hang into some of these games more against some of the top teams. Yeah, no, overall, just kind of good to see him back. I wasn't expecting him to come back this quick. I was kind of expecting later in the month for him to return. Yeah, no, I feel confident that he's going to be able to be a solid contributor off the bench. If he eventually gets to that starting lineup, I really hope they keep Andre Jackson Jr. in the lineup as well and kind of move Torian Prince to the bench. I would assume so, just kind of with the scoring comparisons between the two guys. But no, I felt good. It was awesome to see him back, and I'm excited to kind of watch the rest of his season kind of play out and hope that he can have a similar performance in the playoffs like he did last year. Obviously, it didn't end the way we wanted to, but he put the team on his back.
Yeah, and again, it'll be interesting to see how they manage his minutes. And I don't know if it's gonna be one of those things where he's, you know, plays one like doesn't play any back to backs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be kind of interesting to note. But yeah, I think he looked good, 11 points. Like we said before, it was definitely the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown 25, Jason Tatum 34, Drew Holiday 14 or 20 points, Sam Hauser 16. So I mean, and again, the frustrating part is like Boston only did this playing 8 guys yesterday. Like they're only like an 8 deep bench, and unfortunately, they were able to kind of take control of the game in the fourth quarter, and Milwaukee just couldn't withstand that run, and ended up losing by 6. But I guess they kept it competitive. I mean, I don't like doing moral victories on here, but like, what else am I supposed to do? Boston's just head and shoulders better than Milwaukee right now. So, I mean, this and did you have anything else? Because I can't think of anything.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Um, did you have anything else? Because I don't think I had. I don't believe I had anything else. It was probably I think the only noteworthy thing was Middleton, and I mean I think that was probably about it. I don't think there was anything that really happened this week.
Yeah, no, just that Celtics game really sucks just because that last few minutes, they only had like 3 points in a 5 minute time period. And they outperformed them in quite a few stats. They're kind of held their own the whole game, and just to kind of lose because of goaltending on Giannis didn't help them. A couple late turnovers or Giannis shooting a 3. It's like just some stupid possessions near the end of the game that just didn't really help them in the long run. But no, it was kind of good, I guess, overall to lose by 5. I mean, again, it sucks to lose when you could have won that game, but I'll take a loss when it's only by 5 points instead of just kind of going in there and getting blown out to a team that they're going to be competing with throughout the whole season and potentially the playoffs.
Yep. So, thank you guys for tuning in to this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. We'll see you guys next week.